morning, everybody. Deadman Walking 55 here, coming to you from the U.S. East Coast, and JT Kirk actually is also. I still cannot believe how the hell his part of Michigan is East Coast, but hey, welcome. 9 o'clock on the dot. We're right on time for the great Snortapoopa Skibber out there. JT, how are you tonight?
I am doing. You know, the weather finally switched from being like 90 every day to being a high of 68 in like one day change. So like, I'm like, okay, early fall feel going into Labor Day. I'll take it. Nice and sunny. You know, not too humid. It's like you know, the air conditioning's on outside for once. So I'm doing, you know, and was looking at some football stuff. I got my draft coming up for fantasy football this Sunday.
That's right. Labor Day weekend comes up. It's the real first full weekend of college football. And we got games on Sunday and Monday night, actually. Then we'll take a look about a little bit of action around the country, too. Tonight is the SEC preview for 2025. The focus on the first part of the show will be more towards that. But we will take a look at the national picture, pick some games for the national standpoint. But because some guy got his weeks mixed up, and this should have been a full week one preview. But anyway, it's what it is. But hey, we're going to have fun with this. Of course, JT will be, I will feel free to interject questions or anything as you thoughts as I go through the SEC, JT. You're more than welcome to do that like I did for you on the Big Ten. Remember, folks, last week for our Big Ten review, and we will take a, take a look. In prior years, we focus only on the SEC here. This year, we're trying to expand with JT's help to the Big Ten, get some more expertise there, and actually week to week look more at the national games that are out there, not just in the SEC. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and say hi to the chat. Then let's get, because I got like 54 slides. So, yes. Hell, Tim, LKHC 2005. Yeah, I got a lot to go, like I was telling you. So, Snortapoopa Burr, hello, humans and other critters. I got more than enough to put a bear to sleep in a heartbeat. So, but we don't want him to go to sleep. We want him to Pine from Pinellas County. Buddy Hepburn, howdy to you. And as Buddy says, welcome in. Hit the like and subscribe button. Folks, if you do not know much about football, please ask your questions. We will try to touch base on them. We'll try to answer them throughout the season. And we want to be something for everybody. Even if you don't know a lot about football, you don't know a lot about sports, you got questions, we got answers. Or if not, we'll make it up.
Well, yeah.
So let's see. Hey,
somebody else's phrase, but well,
JT, you're gonna get. I don't know if you met OC Dobbins or if you've seen OC Dobbins before.
Perhaps.
Mr. Alabama right here, OC Dobbins. Yes.
Well, he won't like what I wrote on my predictions for this week.
OC JT is a big Michigan State fan. I almost said Michigan, but a Michigan State fan who does not like Alabama.
I can leave right now.
No, we don't want that. And of course, you said hell to everybody. See right there, Roll Tide. We got him for Alabama. We got B for Mo and Small Town Republic representing Auburn. It's really, really neat here. SEC minutia. Yeah, but the SEC is the best conference. It's the only one that matters in the country, Betty. But hey, oh my gosh. All right. Shall we get into it? We got 11 people watching. Make sure you, if you're on the Twitch side, make sure you follow us over there. If you are here on the YouTube side, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, like Buddy said. Let's get back that one sub let's get it back to 732 again. I forgot to put my banner up. There we go. Because we bounced between 731 and 732 again lately. You know how that goes. Oh my God. Indeed. And then Mr. Penn State comes in, roll overtime. Mr. Cagle, good to see you tonight. He doesn't like winners. Yes, Alabama. Well, anyway, let's see what we go. We got 13 here. So like I said, hit like, hit subscribe, folks. We got a lot to go going into the SEC. Then we'll take a look at the national picture for this week. Let me share my screen. But at about 6 o'clock, I lost all my slides. It was like, oh hell. So we got them saved just in time. And it wasn't too bad. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get into the SEC, folks. Remember, everything we do on this channel is not for gambling purposes. We're just here having fun about football and talking about football, whether it's SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-2, whatever conferences are out there, whatever sport, we do it for the fun of it. So this is our standard disclaimer that we don't use betting lines and stuff like that. Maybe occasionally we'll talk about a spread or what happens when the spread or a score happens, but it's not for that purpose. So, and honestly, if you looked at JTM Mind's predictions and less,
you don't want to use them.
Yeah, you want to our predictions at that point, the way as bad did in the playoffs last year. I'm still just amazed. 13 people here already. Yeah, I love it. Great. So invite your friends, neighbors, polar bears, drunk donkeys, and everybody else out there. Well,
they're waiting to see how foolish we are on these picks. I think that's mostly what it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Freight train collision kind of thing,
Yep.
We're happy to have everybody. We are. It's
absolutely
on a Tuesday night too.
I know. I've been missing this. And tomorrow, West, we will be more than likely on tomorrow night at 8. Something drastic would have to happen because Mrs. is going to have mom tomorrow night at 8, tomorrow evening. So unless something changes, but like I said, let's go forward with this. Remember, this will be the second year when we have Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC. Last year was an interesting year with the two new teams in the conference, and the conference really overall really was a meh league with a lot of parity. Even Georgia wasn't as dominating as it had been in prior years, and even Texas showed a lot of blemishes. I mean, they struggled at times with Vanderbilt on the road, and who actually beat Alabama last year. And, and Georgia in the SEC championship game, it was not like in the prior years where you had one or two dominating teams. I mean, they ended up going well. Texas and Georgia with the one losses, but it just still, they did not have that feel of prior year teams, So, oh my God, I picked Ithaca. That of Wake Forest. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get going into this. What starts the college football season to a lot of junkies is what they call the media days. All the conferences have them. The SEC has their media days. And in that, the sports writers that are appointed to the poll actually vote how they view the conference finishes will go. They'll vote based on how many points, how many they project to win the conference, all the way, and what we'll show in this graph here is the results of that vote. In this year's 2025 SEC media poll, Texas came out with the most first place votes of 96. Snort, that's a good way. That's everybody. Pick the team with the most points. Exactly. Texas ended up with the most first place votes with 3,000 points. Georgia comes in second, 44. Alabama with 29 first place votes, and then LSU at 20 to round up the top 4. These 4, I think, are not surprising.
Chewy's got to be happy about that, right?
Oh yeah, Chewy, OC Dobbins, they've got to be very happy with it. And we'll talk about some of the teams as they're coming up here. South Carolina has gotten a lot of love after last year. Really coming on. Had a few crushing losses, though, a few times.
Yes, they did. That's interesting at 5. I think that's cresting a little high, but okay.
You think cresting high? I wait till you see what I think with Florida, but damn it. Sure. Florida 6th? I mean, I'm still
over Tennessee. No.
Yeah, well, but see, Tennessee's lost Nico. Tennessee has a lot of problems up there right now. There's a lot.
They also lost another quarterback, didn't they? So they should be way better.
They lost Nico. They had a kid come in, Aguiar, so they're trying to decide who the quarterback. He looks like he's going to be the quarterback for Tennessee. They have other holes on the offensive side. Defense would be one that would carry Tennessee this year. But like Florida over Lane Kitten's Ole Miss, I'm sitting here last year screaming to fire Billy Napier and let's hire Lane Kitten. Nothing moved. Oh, Snort, take care.
Yeah,
have a good nap. Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for coming through. You got the culprits in here. Florida. Oh, I'll talk more about that Gator team in a little bit, but I'll hold off for that. But Ole Miss 7th, which is a lot down for them. I've heard others projecting them to maybe 2 losses to fight for the SEC championship game. Texas A&M,
Deadman.
Yeah.
Number 7 is where I put Michigan State over in the Big Ten in my predictions. So, and I thought that was being optimistic. So, I'm putting them around Ole Miss territory here. So that's kind of the these bubble teams that
one team that would be frustrated has got to be frustrated is Texas A&M. I mean, not only did they pay Kevin Sumlin a jack load of money to leave, they paid Jumbo Fisher to leave. I mean, they're paying 2 former coaches all these millions of dollars, and still,
I honestly forgot about them.
Yeah, and even though that they're projected to be better this year, even the media has them like right in the middle of the pack in the SEC, and they've got Florida. We'll talk more as we get into it.
Yeah,
we got Texas, Oklahoma. Of course, they've got quarterback issues there. Auburn up to 11. Our Auburn fans, you might have some hope this year. Missouri. Vanderbilt still gets 2 first place votes, but 13. I'll tell you what I really think
where are
about
they? In Nashville?
Nashville, yeah. You got Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. The habitual, these are really, Kentucky's a team that's really on the decline right now. Mark Stoops is the winningest coach at Kentucky, but the sad thing is they just can't get the talent in there. They can't get the especially at quarterback play. They've lost 2 of their best wide receivers from last year, and they seem to be spiraling downward, at least right now. I mean, they had key losses last year. But then again, they upset Ole Miss at Ole Miss.
I just don't know if they have the money in the program to be able to recruit harder than they need to, and because the school's been underperforming for many, many years, right? That you're going to be able to get anyone. And they're also, let's face it, they're the furthest north team out of all of these, so they see winter.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids don't want to do winter.
Yeah. And it's also Kentucky. It's also Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's a beautiful state to visit.
It is. I love Kentucky.
But if you're out for the nightlife and the big stuff, it may not be as much. So
no, not so much.
But folks, that's where the media poll has everything listed. Texas at the top, Georgia followed, Bama, LSU, South Carolina, Florida, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Auburn, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. So we will go ahead, and what I will do is I will give you some stats with each of these teams. Going through Texas Longhorns, projected to be first. Steve Sarkisian is the head coach coming into the 6th year. Overall, 84-52 in 12 years of coaching. You can see last year they tied Georgia for the first in the SEC, but they lost to Georgia in the SEC championship game, which was really crushing with the way they took out Georgia's quarterback's arm at the end of the first half. And then Gunnar Stockton had to play the second half and the playoff game, who will be Georgia's quarterback this year. But Texas ended up losing to the eventual national champion Ohio State at 28-14 in the Cotton Bowl. They have 8 starters returning on overall, 3 on offense, 5 on defense, and you can see the breakdown by class of the starters. Heavily dominated seniors, juniors should come back with a lot of experience overall.
Is that seniors 4th and 5th year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you get looking at their ranked statistically over the last few years. Well, scoring was down slightly last year. Offensive output was up in terms of yardage, but really what made a significant difference on Texas last year was their defense. And you can tell they were ranked 3rd nationally in scoring defense, 3rd in total defense, and a turnover margin of +5. So watching a lot of the games last year, defense really carried this team. So, I think it will also be a very key factor for this team this year. Plus, also they had to replace Quinn Ewers. But, hey, who's their quarterback this year? Arch Manning, the quarterback everybody's been waiting to see.
Any relation to Peyton or Eli?
Yes.
Okay.
He is. I can't remember. I think it's Eli. I got to remember which one he is. I should have known that offhand. But he is related to the Manning Manning family. Manning. I do not like the Manning Fannings. Yeah, his father is
They
one
love
that
to make chicken parm.
Yeah,
How could you
but
not like that?
his father is actually Cooper Manning. He's the eldest son of Archie Manning. So,
Brother to
surprise.
Archie Bunker?
No. Yeah, Cooper Manning's son. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Hey, listen, FKHC 2005. That's what I thought about Missouri and Texas A&M. They're big. Those both of them are Big 12 schools. No. Oh, and JT, yeah, you agree. Yeah, Nebraska and Big 10. I know you talked about that and how it's like Nebraska fell apart, becoming just a mediocre team in the Big 10.
Right.
Yep. So, all right. Wow. Let's see. Let's go ahead and we'll get going. As you can see with Texas returning starters, see the offense. The big question of how will Arch Manning do this year? Will he be productive? And being the starter, being the man. And many times they were calling on him last year behind Quinn Ewers, but so we'll see. It's always interesting when you are the man. Second in the SEC, predicted by the media poll, are the Georgia Bulldogs out of Athens, Georgia. This is awesome. This is old school coaching. This is where I miss Spurrier. Kirby Smart has spent 9 years at Georgia, 105-19 overall. Just an unbelievable record with them. Although they have a lot of off the field problems up there, especially with Georgia players, alcohol, and motor vehicles. So it's and some have been very, very sad. Last year they won the SEC, beating Texas 22-19 in the SEC championship game, but they lose to Notre Dame 23-10 in the Sugar Bowl. I remember last time they didn't make a bowl in 1996. I remember that. That was so good years because Florida just dominated them. But
that's a long time to be in bowls. Long
it
time.
Is. Hey,
I remember Michigan State lost to them. Oh gosh, what was that?
Well, this is Vince Dooley's last game, I believe.
It was New Year's Day going into 2009. I think it might have been New Year's Eve 2008. Michigan State lost. Well, they were in it for 3 quarters pretty well. In the fourth quarter, it was somebody that I know well, dead man that I'm not a fan of. Do you know who it was? Georgia quarterback?
The Georgia quarterback?
Yep.
Matthew Stafford.
Pafford, yep. Pafford.
Hey, he won a Super Bowl.
After he left Detroit.
I know. I loved him at Georgia. He and Peyton Manning were my favorite quarterbacks to go against as the Gators because we beat the crap out of him. He was good for good interceptions. So, but Georgia returned 7 starters, so they're going to be replacing a lot of talent. Of course, quarterback Gunnar Stockton takes over this year, with the other having transferred to the Miami Hurricanes this year. They see a very junior-heavy class. A few sophomores, freshmen projected to break starting lineups. Could be a good year or bad year in Athens this year, depending on how Gunnar Stockton and one of the problems that Georgia really had last year was they seemed to have a step down in terms of quality wide receivers. They had one that was really fast, but he couldn't catch a ball. It was. You just
they had a great track team. Is what you're saying. Exactly.
So they didn't. The loss of Bowers, that tight end, really affected this team's offensive production. So, but Georgia's still in line for another big year coming up too. Very favorable schedule. We'll see that in a bit. But as you can tell, Georgia really fell off in scoring last year, almost 10 points a game less than the prior year.
25% reduction.
While the defense also gave up more points in the prior games. Georgia actually last year could have lost and probably should have lost to the Florida Gators here in Jacksonville if DJ Lagway had not gotten hurt in that game. Georgia was very flat, and Georgia had many appearances last year where they were just did not seem like they were all in all together. And one of the signs I think with Georgia that you can tell last year is look at the lack of production in the running game. The previous 2 years are up around 200 yards. Yeah, the previous 2 years to about 200 yards a game running. I mean, and they had Trevor Etienne last year too. And they had good running backs, but they still only managed 125 yards a game. Ranked 102nd nationally. Didn't do too bad, only -1 in turnover margin. But you look at statistically this team, the offensive production has gone down in terms of points. The defensive production has gone bad because they're giving up more points per game. And, 6 points may not seem like a lot, but 6 points is a lot, especially over 2 years. So you look at trends and things like this. Can Georgia,
sure.
Kirby Smart get the offense rolling under Gunner Stockton again? Will the new receivers and running backs produce like DeAndre Swift and Nick Chubb in them in prior years, or are they going to struggle continuing going forward on offense?
Well, look, Dad, when you score 17 points in a Big Ten game, you're going to lose. You score 23, you're going to win.
Yeah,
I mean that's all that needs to be. Is a couple field goals, and you've won or lost the game. So that is a substantial decline.
Yep. Yeah, I still call it the Gator Ball. A lot of people here still call it Gator Ball, although it's Alltel Stadium or whatever friggin' bank is sponsoring it now.
It's
and the upper
Theseus.
The upper west stands is from the original Gator Bowl, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to take that down. It's going to be a complete renovation where the Jaguars will have to play out of town for a couple of years, which then probably means this Florida-Georgia game goes on the campus for 2 years.
Do they send them to London for all the home games?
Why not? I know somebody. I know somebody in London who doesn't want them. So,
yeah.
Although I'm going to see if they can get me pictures and stuff over there with it. But yeah, so there's the Georgia Bulldogs. Some, still until they fall off, till people beat them, then you still have to put them up there. Now, third in the media poll was Grand Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. Kalen DeBoer will be in his second year, so tied for fourth in the SEC overall, 9-4, 5-3. Lost the ReliaQuest Bowl to Michigan, 1913. God, but then again, you sit your starters, and we won't get on the why the hell are we playing the bowl games, especially as many bowl games as there are now.
Why they were that high up to play that bowl game, but
yeah, but the biggest problem here, they got 9 starters returning, 6 on offense, 7 on defense. The biggest loss will be Jalen Milroe, who now is going to the NFL. Ty Simpson is now projected to be the starter for the Crimson Tide going forward. Definitely, this is a team that could do a lot. Look at with a very heavy upper class team here between the seniors and juniors, and OC haters gonna hate. And hey, Fallout Dave, good to see you too. But I tell you, my concern with this team is the quarterback position. Ty Simpson, a few years ago, he got a start against South Florida. Now, the few times I've seen him play, he looked horrible, and I think really it's going to come down to how well he can perform.
How 2 years ago? No, that's long enough ago.
Yeah,
I would jettison that view of whatever he was. He's had time.
Well, it's kind of like Jalen Milroe. Last year, last year, the year before, one of my comments about Jalen Milroe when he took over, he looked horrible his freshman year. He overthrew, he ran too often, but then he developed into a pretty nice quarterback because he hit
an eye on this, Dad man. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, because one of the things that happened, I can't remember if it's Auburn game last year or the year before, to win the game, he hit a guy in the back corner of the end zone with just a beautiful, perfect pass. He threaded the needle on it. So, Milroe stepped up as a quarterback. He developed. Now, the question is, can Ty Simpson do that? Or maybe one of the other younger quarterbacks if he struggles? Go ahead, JT.
I was going to say, sure. I didn't mean to interrupt you. My apologies.
That's okay.
The thing that you have to remember is a team that is this high up in the SEC and nationally in the rankings and has been forever, it feels like, can go ahead and go to that portal now and pick out a different QB from another school. If they think they're really going to have a better chance than who you said it was Ty on this one. I think they're not going to make a mistake and go with this quarterback. So,
No.
I mean, look at Michigan. They go out and pick a new one from somebody else every year. It feels like off the shelf. And Alabama didn't do that here. So, I don't know if I would hold that many reservations, especially if the last exposure was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to real quickly. They have a freshman. They had a player that they recruited that could actually step in the future. Let's see the name. Let's see. Austin Mack is one of those. Trying to find the kid's name, but he was a top recruit, and see, that's where I like it. I like the fact that they Keelan Russell is actually who it is, and he was ranked as the number 2 player overall in the country. He's actually gone to campus in January. He actually was an early attender. Hey, Tom F., look, a squirrel, yes. So that's where I could see Ty Simpson a starter for a couple games and Keelan Russell overtaking when you got this. But I like that approach. I especially like a quarterback. I'll talk about that with Tennessee later. I hate going to the portal for your quarterbacks for year to year. I hate the mercenary nature of all of it. I think some positions you do better by bringing them in and training them. And I like that Alabama could have easily rated the portal.
Right, and they didn't.
But they didn't.
They didn't. Well, maybe their third string or fourth string might be, but the fact that they didn't do that here, I think you're going to see as this portal system works out more, teams really weighing the risk of going to the portal for the quarterback or a wide receiver, something like that, and maybe not doing it as much because it doesn't pay off all that well and the risk is higher. And this year will be a key year for us to see, okay, who should have gone to the portal and who did, and what percentage of those turned out to be any good. Yeah. So I think that Alabama's doing it the right way and being, I don't want to say conservative, but just not taking that element of risk in the portal like we've seen.
Well, because
there you go, C. Dobbins. I said something nice about Alabama. Just no, I'm just kidding. No.
There you go. I know it's cool. Lemon pie, hello, citrus. I love the way he says hi. Fruitcakes, of course, as always. But yeah, he's laughing at that. But I really do think that. I mean, I hope Ty. I like those stories. I hope Ty actually can play well and actually hold that job. I hate seeing the freshmen all the way take over. But you know what? A team like Alabama's got so much to play for. Their fans aren't going to put up with too many 9-4 seasons. They want to win SEC and national titles. It's a different place. And, you can't have a year like they did last year very often. But, of course, there's a year of transition, Saban retires, Kalen DeBoer comes in. You have a whole new atmosphere and everything with that. Speaking of a place that has not changed, let's look at the statistics before we talk about what has not changed. Alabama, see, then again, 2 years ago, 41 points a game, and dropped off to 34, then 33.8. Not really much of a change from the prior year, but you can see the scoring has gone down from when they really hit that national title.
Yeah, that's not a stellar number, 42nd.
No. But what has changed, but still what has not changed, that Alabama defense still at 17 points a game, 10th nationally, and really a +7 turnover margin. That is incredible. This team ended up 9-4, but had a +7 turnover margin. You would have thought this team would have been in the playoffs. And not with the voting stuff, JT, but seriously, you would have thought they'd have been better than 9-4 with a +7 turnover margin.
Oh, that's less than one a game. I mean, it's okay. It's 31st. I don't know. The turnover margin on this really doesn't help them when they didn't capitalize on it.
Right. Exactly.
And you could have +15, and then if you punt it right away, that was worthless. So, not dragging them for any turnovers, right? But they did not capitalize on it from what I'm seeing here.
And of course, the offensive production still the last 2 years have not really had the developed passing game. I mean, they were down from when Bryce Young was the quarterback. But of course, they got that Williams, that freshman last year, the dominating freshman wide receiver last year, just incredible talent. So, but you got to get somebody to feed him the ball, and we'll see what happens this year
To
with
me,
Bama.
with those kind of rankings, they outperformed what their numbers are talking about big time.
Yep. Yeah, because like I said, you expected them to be better than 9-4 with a bit statistically, but it depends on who you play also and how the games go. They had the track meet with Georgia last year where they ran out to a huge lead on Georgia at the halftime. Georgia stormed back, took the lead. Then on the next play, they flinked the ball downfield and hey, it's a touchdown, and they beat Georgia. What a crazy ass game. And then they held Georgia off at the end. What a crazy ass game that was. But speaking of crazy ass, there are great friends in Louisiana, the great Cajuns. LSU, yes, Tiger Stadium, which I got to visit 2 years ago. One thing that has not changed is their head coach, Brian Kelly. Your favorite
aka
coach.
Brian Smelly.
Yeah.
O.C. Dobbins, you may borrow that if you like. I had that one from the Notre Dame days.
23 years in coaching and 195, 73, and 22 years, 29 and 11. This is another name I associated with the Gators last year that actually there was talk about him replacing Napier in Gainesville, but it died down with Napier's lucky hot streak at the end of the year. Of course, they finished third overall in the SEC back at 9-4. They beat Baylor in the Texas Bowl 44-31. They returned 8 starters, including the quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier. They really have 11 seniors coming back. I think this team rides on Nussmeier, though. One of the problems he had though last year was too many turnovers. The point differential plummeted. See, Jalen Daniels, the Washington Commanders quarterback. You can see in 2023. Led the nation in scoring and scoring offense and total offense. And then last year they took a 15-point step back in terms of offensive production.
Well, and 103 step back in rushing.
Yes. So, definitely because they relied on Garrett Nussmeier to throw the ball a lot more. And he like I said, too many turnovers. They lost the game like to Florida. I mean, they're losses that you're like, why did you lose to that team? Even if it's on the road, and too many games where they had like that. But
that's such a lopsided offense. That's hard to believe. It's right. A top 10 passing team, and then not even in the top 100 in rushing.
It happens, JT. It happens. Sometimes it's your coordinator. Depends on your offensive line. If they're not capable of run blocking, you have to go with whatever you can, whether if you think the best chance is to throw the ball, you do. Now, the one thing is look at 2023. Jalen Daniels was a very mobile quarterback, very fast also. So how many of those rushing yards were padded by him and his ability to scramble and run, whereas Nussmeier is not that type of quarterback. But he's got to cut down on the interceptions and turnovers this year for the Tigers to have a successful season, maybe make an appearance in Atlanta for the championship game. So, JT, yeah, it's like here. Yes, JT went to Michigan State. Does not have good feelings for Notre Dame and Brian Smelly. Yes. So, tell us how you really feel, JT. All right. So that's yeah. And see, even defensively, they're okay. They didn't fall. I mean, the defense improved from the prior year, but still, it's
76th in passing.
They were average in defense, and still, it was not. They didn't have the offense to make up for the defensive mistakes that they had last year.
Part of that, I would love to say is that they had their defense probably on the field a little too much.
That happened at times, too, in some of those games, yes. Well, let's move on to the next one. The South Carolina Gamecocks. Go Cocky. Yes, they like to play into the cocky with their mascots and stuff like that. Shane Beamer coming into his 5th year, son of the great Beamer coach from Beamer Ball from Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer. Very interesting. This is a guy that went into last season on a hot seat. There was some talk, would he even save his job? because he ended the that season 20-18 overall, but he 9-4 season, 5-3 in the SEC. Lost to the Illini in the bowl game that they had this year. Other little stats, last league titles, they actually won in the ACC in '69.
That's rough. That's rough.
They did. They joined the SEC. ACC never helped them much. This team is returning Lenore Sellers as their quarterback. 8 returning starters. They have seniors and juniors. Really junior, sophomore laden team here. Of course, they'll have to break in 2 freshman kickers. I tell you what, South Carolina for the last 4 years had the most dangerous punter, because the one game where they scored only 7 points against Florida was because the punter threw a touchdown pass on a fake punt. And he'd done it repeatedly in many games. It's like, he was half their offense.
But how many times can he do it before the other team gets wise?
No, but they did. That's the thing, is his career, he did it quite often, a lot more than you would have expected. So, but Lenore Sellers is here. Raheem Sanders is gone, though, as a running back, so they brought in new running backs to help with that team. This is a team that could be we'll look at the schedule a little bit later.
I do not understand how they got into 5th place on this ranking with only 4 on each side of the ball returning, and they were 9-4 last year.
Yeah. Well, they did.
East.
They were really dominated, but they also had times when they struggled in some of these games too. Where they played Oklahoma, that was a game that they struggled to win last year. They had lead, they had advantages. It's just, this is one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams. I think this team could actually have a really good year, or it could have the wheels could come off the train. Because they do have a good quarterback. Lenore Sellers was very effective last year, but he had the right talent around him. This is a team that had enough defense. But is Shane Beamer that type of coach? Can he coach a program with expectations? As we see last year, they did improve on defense quite a bit at 18 points a game. They did have a +3 turnover margin, so that's good to help towards them. But what really improved was their offense. They improved with Lenore Sellers and Raheem Sellers over 400 yards a game, 45th nationally. So, like I said, this is one of the teams historically will either be really good or really bad. I mean, it's one of those teams that will they meet expectations? Now that some people have them really doing a lot, and some even think maybe they could make the SEC championship game. We'll look at their schedule too, because their schedule's not that bad. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, we're going to have to look at that. I guess that's where it's going to all have to come down to for this team, because I just am not seeing it. But okay.
Yep. One of the things I noticed last year, and I think it touched on when we started, though, is that this conference has so much parity in it now, which means like I said, Georgia and Tennessee, Georgia and Texas, even though they were about far ahead of the rest of the SEC, there really weren't many times that they really were that scare the pants out of you, especially Georgia. Now, Texas tore the crap out of Florida, but we expected that with no DJ Lagway and no defense at the time. So, all right. Well, we got the South Carolina Gamecocks. All right. And then we move on to Go Gators. Now, all the people I want to watch Gator fans in are not here tonight. I'm going to have to get them all in the stream, and I'm going to have to redo the slide for them. Tell them this is why
you riot act for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Damn it. Y'all aren't here. But Billy Napier is approaching his 4th year. He should not have been coaching this year. But a mediocre 500 record.
Look at that schedule and that record. Oh, my goodness.
No, wait till you see this. This year's schedule is as bad as last year's, though. When we look at the schedule, you're going to see how bad it is. Last year, they finished 10th in the SEC, 8-5 overall, which was a miracle. 4-4 in the SEC. Of course, I didn't bother watching Gasparilla Bowl because, I don't know. I'm a snob. I'm not going to sit there and watch them play Tulane. I'll be honest. I mean, why? It's like they had a good win. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, it's a snub. They have 14 returning starters. Most important returning starters, DJ Lagway, the quarterback. They brought in some new wide receivers through the transfer portal, although Napier has not hit the transfer portal really hard, and they've not done that much on they spent money in the NIL, but not like some of these other schools have. Which will he how will that happen? The Gators have 10 returning seniors, including 7 juniors also. So what is an experienced team coming in? But the biggest concern for this team is at quarterback, DJ Lagway. He's already been hurt in the preseason. He was hurt last year. Is he soft? Can he survive a full SEC regular season? Which gets back to one of my damn problems with Billy Napier as a freaking head coach.
His contract goes through the 2028 season.
I don't care if they had the money, they could get rid of it, because I don't like this clap, shift offense. Now, he did a little less of that with Lagway in, but to me, Lagway, for a drop back passer, for a kid that you're going to get him for his arm, ran the ball an awful lot and got exposed to a lot of hits that he didn't need to to take. Especially now, he lost a hamstring, horrible hamstring. I thought he was going for the season against Georgia, but he came back in a couple weeks. Give the kid credit. This offseason, he's had a shoulder problem, was not throwing for a while. Now he was seen in a walking boot earlier this month. Your backup quarterback is Harrison Bailey, a Tennessee reject. You know, what do you do? I think Napier, if he's a good coach, he will change his offense up. Not so much the read option running with Lagway as much this year. Do it at times, but do it effectively. But look to use his drop back ability. He's got a natural arm. He made some throws against Georgia. Had he stayed healthy in that Georgia game, there's no doubt that Georgia would have lost that game to Florida. But then again, we got Napier again. You know, my feelings on him. I don't think he should have been coach after the first year, but here we are.
Well, 14 coming back. I mean, there might not be 14 great players, but
yeah, that's the other thing.
A senior-led team, so this will definitely be something that they can hopefully take forward and make something of the season.
One of the strengths is this offensive line. This offensive line has like 4 of the returning starters back, and they're more upperclassmen. So hopefully they can protect the quarterback, and hopefully that they can open up the holes. Jaden Bond stepped up great as a running back last year for the Gators. I mean, this team could be a surprise team. They really could be a surprise team, but based on their schedule, we'll look at later, could also go to the bottom really quickly if Lagway gets hurt or if the team does not stay healthy. So, looking at the Gators too statistically here, you know, about average for the 3 years under Napier, a little less yardage this last year. Defense is very pedestrian. So really, although they had this is another one. I think in this case, this team watching them play, I could not believe that they end up with a +6 turnover margin, but that probably helped them get to the record they did get.
Dad, man, I'm looking at this, and if I'm correct, 18 teams in the Big Ten plus 16 in the SEC. What does that make? 34?
Yep.
So they underperformed where they needed to be.
No.
Being in the SEC for 35th. Like, that's where I'm looking at the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a good team or a bad team going in on a lot of these rankings?
Yeah. Right. I know.
And yeah.
All right. Well, I know I got to pick up the pace, folks, because we got a lot of stuff to go on tonight. So it's like the old Piss Rebels. I call them Old Piss. Yeah, Lane Kiffin again. Look, I don't care about Old Piss anymore. I with Lane Kiffin, I don't trust this team. I mean, until they actually win.
44-18.
Yeah, but still, he loses the games he can't, like Kentucky. I picked Georgia and Ole Miss in the SEC championship game last year. The Ole Miss beats Georgia, but they lose at home to Kentucky, which shot the whole season what they had, because that would put them 5-2, 10-2 overall. Probably still a game behind Texas or Georgia, but just Lane Kiffin is not one to return. Now you only see 4 returning starters, and Jackson Dart has gone to the NFL, but they do have more seniors and juniors. But I do like their left-handed quarterback who came in last year when Jackson Dart was hurt in a game and led the Ole Miss to a touchdown drive. He looked really, really good. Now Austin Simmons did that. So who knows? I mean,
on paper it doesn't look awful, but I'm willing to bet if we go look at their schedule, it's something gnarly.
Yeah, exactly. And small time. Here's our Auburn fan here. Small time Republic. Hey, yep. 2024 Auburn's 28 total offense, 31st in total defense. Went 5-7. Yeah, little things add up. Yep, absolutely. I remember the first year under Napier, Florida couldn't get too many delay penalties and all this other crap, and they made a bowl game barely. But it was like they lost several games just from bad coaching and critical errors on the field. I mean, like running punt teams on and stuff.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford was in Detroit for a decade and had these fantastic numbers several seasons. And
you have Matt Stafford games. Caused you to have PTSD, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just had to check.
Oh yeah.
All right. This team came to Jacksonville, crushed Duke in the Gator Bowl. So let's see where we go with them. Their numbers were still up. I actually produced more on offense, 38.6, 14 points per game. That's how, when you look at this team's numbers, you're like, how the hell did this team not make the SEC championship game? Based on the statistics, plus 10 turnover margin. But as Small Town Republic said, the little things are key. You can't lose at home to Kentucky.
Well, second they gave up the second fewest points.
Yeah.
The second fewest rushing.
Yep.
I mean, like, these are fantastic numbers until you get to the point where, they were 86th in passing yards surrendered. That's how they didn't win.
Well, you look at their losses last year. They lost at LSU in overtime. Okay. Here's the 2 critical losses. At home to Kentucky, no freaking excuse. Then they go to Gainesville and only score 17 points and lose to Florida. I'm sorry. As much as I love my Gators, that was Ole Miss should have never lost to Florida. They should have never lost to Kentucky. They should have ended up season 1. This is why I don't trust Lane Kiffin as a coach. That's why I don't. When you lose a game like Kentucky at home and then you go on a road with a team like Florida that was only getting – I'm not convinced Florida's 4-game winning streak was for real. I think they caught an LSU team that was struggling, Ole Miss team was struggling. They happened to catch people at the right time. Not what Napier did, I believe.
I just don't know how you lose all those games but only give up 14 points on average.
I don't. And then you end up with 3 losses. You end up 10-3.
You have to beat like the first 4 teams or 5 teams on your calendar, like 36-2 or something like that.
Furman, they beat Furman. They beat Furman 76-0. Middle Tennessee 52-3. Wake Forest 40-6. Georgia Southern 52-13. Of course, losing to Kentucky, they only scored 17. At South Carolina, they got 27. At LSU, they got 26 in a loss. Oklahoma, they got 26 in a win. Arkansas, they put up 63. Georgia, they got 28-10. And then Florida, they only get 17, and they put 26 up in the Egg Bowl against Pitt State.
I would have loved to have seen this team play Iowa last year.
Yeah. So
3-3 final.
I know, but see, like Ole Miss and Miami were phenomenal. Miami, that offense they had were amazing. Yeah, Kentucky, the problem, Kentucky was good. I think mostly because of their defense, because their quarterback play was just got worse as the year went on. And yeah, they almost beat Georgia, which I tell you, I think that's why Georgia, like I said earlier, the Georgia and Texas were. They ran away from the rest of the conference, but I don't think they were up to their normal standards with that, where they usually go.
All righty. Let's roll through this, Dad, man.
Yeah. We're at number 8, Texas A&M and Aggies. We still haven't even seen We're
not even halfway through.
Yeah, we'll get there. Hey, it's a 5-hour glorious football stream, JT. We're making up for all those weeks we missed. But basically, Mike Elko will be in his second year. See, God, I hate Texas A&M. That place. I wish Snorri Pupus was still here because he spent a semester there and stuff. But another case of coach coming in the program, all these things. Do you pay your head coach to end up tied fourth in SEC. No, you don't. They're returning 15 starters. This team should, on paper,
should
do very well. But even the media has them coming in like
they're probably playing like Texas, Alabama, LSU, Georgia.
Well, we'll see
like
those
they're probably playing
schedules.
all four of those teams. And
well, we'll see how that schedule rolls up a little bit later. But yeah, so you can see when they're really down here in 2022, 30 points a game this year, scoring at 22, and then of course +5 turnover margin really helped in 2024. Coming back with this team. Again, come down to Mike Elko. He's a respected coach, and then see how let's see, for them, I believe Marcel Ward was their quarterback last year. I think he takes over for as a full-time starter this year. Did a lot of good stuff for A&M last year. So we depends as how the schedule goes, how they perform. What it is. It could be the curse of Texas A&M because they've not, as a program, no matter in spite of what they paid coaches, they've always underperformed overall each year. But you can see statistically, this team was pretty good on paper last year, but still.
I don't know. I don't know. You see, I'm doing that magic.
Yep, I know.
It's worse than 34. You failed.
Well, we got the Tennessee Volunteers. Josh Heupel coming into his 5th year. They are a little bit of quarterback turmoil after the offseason. We had our first ever college football holdout. Disgruntled run off with Nico, however you pronounce the last name. But I will tell you, I'm proud of Tennessee to tell him to go go pound sand. We're not going to do whatever, you're not going to run the team. And I think it was really good for them. I think that it's going to be a down year for them. Can they score points? The defense should carry this team very well, though. They have experience on defense.
They have 5 senior defensive folk out there. I don't want to assume that they're all fantastic, but
that has been the heart of the team in the preseason. When you've heard the scouting reports and the media reports and talking, the defense is the side of the ball that's looking to be the part to help carry this team quite a bit.
They got rid of that portal QB, didn't they?
Yeah, Nico left. Yes.
No, I'm talking about the other one.
Not sure which one that is.
Wasn't that the Michigan State QB?
No. That's Auburn with Peyton Thorne.
That's Auburn, yeah.
You still have PTSD on Peyton Thorne. Oh, by the way, I saw a game he played last year, and he hit a guy right in stride for a touchdown. I'm sitting there thinking, like, why is JT and Small Town Republic so on to Peyton Thorne? He made a nice pass, maybe one every once in a while. But
no, this team was our adopted team last year.
Yes,
for anyone that doesn't know, Florida was starting out of the gate pretty awful. If I remember, Michigan State fell flat the entire year. So we were looking at Tennessee, who opened up pretty hot. And we said, you know what? If we're going to pick a team we both want to root for, let's just pick Tennessee. And Dadman can sing a good
rock top. Oh, rock top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But, honestly, there's a problems with this team. One, not only the first quarterback. You got to replace quarterback with Nico having left. The second thing, though, is that although the defense is supposed to carry this team, defensive back Boo Carter has been having there's been reports of issues, whether he'll stay with the team or not, and that, some of the players have had to do player justice because it's, not skipping team meetings and stuff like that that's happened. So it's and also the lack of wide receivers. Our favorite Squirrel White, the adopted player for Tennessee.
Oh yeah, who could forget Squirrel?
Transferred to friggin' Florida State. Why the hell would he do that? Why?
He doesn't want to win, I guess.
I don't know, but yeah, small time. Yeah, he was. This is the problem. He wasn't productive when it mattered, or he was productive when it didn't matter. It's like you said earlier, the small things become big things.
The other thing about this team is I thought they were kind of jobbed a little bit, a lot of it with the rankings in the CFP last year, just because Ohio State has more TVs. Yeah. They gave them the home
Yeah, see,
advantage.
I agree. I think Tennessee deserved that home game over Ohio State.
Now, I don't think they necessarily would have won, but
Right.
would it have been like 35-42? I think
I don't
so.
know.
I think it
But
would have been
I will tell
a
you though what
touchdown
I was proud
difference.
about those Tennessee Volunteers though. I was tell you I was proud because I think they brought back a bit of good old Southern football and restored some of our faith in college sports. But the way they trolled Ohio State, calling it Ohio Stadium, Nayland North, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah,
I love it. Now they paid for it afterwards, but I love
they
that they
did.
had that spirit. But
It didn't pay off at all.
no.
Doing that.
Now this is a team is really a crapshoot. I mean, the defense should be as good as, but who knows what this offense will be? They lose so much on this team. They even lose let's see, the Dylan Sampson, was probably the best running back in college football last year. So much that they've lost on the offensive side. Even Nico, the wide receiver core is depleted. So who knows with this team and what this offense will do.
Last year's defense, I would consider elite.
Yeah. Well,
if you're going to win that 30, what was I keep missing in 34 or better in every single one. I think you call that elite. The offense, no, but still really good. I mean, I would take that offense.
And as I mentioned, 7 starters come back on defense too. So that's where they're looked to be the heart and soul of this team.
So all right, I think that might be our team again this year.
No, I hope the Gators. I hope my Gators keep going. So
but we can both have a second team.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Well, I think my math went wrong on this one screen. I don't know how 3 and 6 become 12, but it's. Let me see if I can get.
Wait, is that where they really play?
What? Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Yes.
Okay.
That is. Yes, that's the name of the stadium.
Okay.
The Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Yep, exactly. So,
well, there is a Gaylord, Michigan, but we
this is a Gaylord
O to a U to make it a little bit.
Yeah. Really, see, they have 9 returning starters, not 12, but it's the breakdown on offense and defense. One of the biggest problems with this team last year, they could not get consistent quarterback play. Jackson Arnold, who's now at Auburn, was replaced by Michael Hawkins Jr. And they never really. I love the way Kirk Herbstreit, Mr. Blowhard, we are seeing the future of Oklahoma's quarterback, because this freshman comes in and just starts running up and down the field a bit, but he didn't score any points. But he anointed him as the quarterback of the future. Well, guess what? Hawkins is on the bench. They brought in John Mateer, I believe, from Washington State, with an offensive coordinator from up there to beef up the quarterback position this year.
Isn't this the team that I'm trying to remember? There was a team in the bowl games that deliberately didn't try. Is this that one where they lost the Navy?
I don't know. My God, how many don't try these days in the bowl games? But I don't know that they did here with this.
Allegedly, deliberately didn't try. Yeah.
Well, it is an upper class dominated team with 19 seniors and juniors here. But like I said, the key with this team is going to be the quarterback play. Will John Mateer, lead this team and restore an Oklahoma offense? It's not been what it has ever since probably Bob Stoops, even or Lincoln Riley, who's now in California USC. He left, and his quarterback left with him, but. We'll see if Max Venables can actually generate some offense to see how bad that is. From 2023 to 2024, 10 points a game drop off, over 130 yards or about 115 yards per game less production wise. The defense got a little bit better, but still
stinky. I see MAC teams or Big 12 teams that have way better offenses than that. That is sad. Okay. Anyway.
So we're going to move into the Auburn Tigers on the plains of Jordan Hill. It's not Jordan Hare Stadium. It's Jordan Hare.
Or
I don't understand why it's Jordan with it being an O, but it must have been the way the man's name was pronounced. Jordan Hare Stadium. Auburn, Alabama. Hugh Freeze comes back into his 3rd year at the program. He spent time in the SEC at Ole Miss. overall 67, 56, 12 years. Spent time at Liberty also. So, hey, there you
now,
go.
when the coach comes out, do they play the Arnold Schwarzenegger? All right, everybody, chill from the Batman movie.
Man, my math really sucked. I must have done this way late at night. 5 and 5 is 13. Damn it. I really screwed up again. But anyway.
But I had my own mistakes last week. It's fine. I know what you meant.
I know the two numbers. I know it's 5 and 5, but the big, Jackson Arnold coming
3 and 4. Okay. Yeah,
Jackson Arnold, and not just Jackson Arnold, but Auburn is one of those teams that I also think could have a very good year too if Jackson Arnold plays well. Although what's creeping me out, and Small Time Republic may have more on this. What I've been hearing is that they're talking about playing multiple quarterbacks, which means Jackson Arnold doesn't have the job as a clear starter. They brought in a wide receiver from Georgia Tech, incredibly talented wide receiver, so they should have enough offensive firepower to perform very well. And depending on how the schedule goes, I think Auburn is a team that could, if they get hot and do the little things right, could actually surprise some people this year. But okay, here's what a Small Town Republic said. I've heard Shug Jordan's answers from UK pronounce it as Jordan, and it stuck. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that because it just
makes sense.
It makes sense now. It's just because it's just a weird pronunciation to me. But then again, if it's stuck, it's stuck. And I'm trying to find something real quick right here. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Go ahead and read your comment there real quick. JT.
Yeah, so I just remember I knew someone from the UK. Well, I guess I still know them, but she pronounced her name Sarah instead of Sarah, that we would say in the US.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
because Jimmy Fallon at the stupid Jimmy Fallon ride in Universal, he dressed up as a female, and he's like, it's Sarah, Sara, Sarah. I'm like, sorry, JT, that.
But it was the accent. Yeah, that's the accent showing, right?
Well, it's Eric Singleton Jr. who's transferred in from Georgia Tech. So you get consistent quarterback play. You get a deep wide receiver room because it's a team that's really where their defense have been respectable in recent years. It's just the consistent play of offense at the right time with this team. So we shall see. But I will say, I don't know if you heard this too, JT. Not only one of the problems and criticisms, like I said, talk about multiple quarterbacks at the very start. Also, there are people questioning Hugh Freeze's commitment to football and to the program, that he spends more time golfing than anything else. It's like the Steve Spurrier thing. But people are upset about that. In a small time, I don't know if you can talk to that. But I know in recent reports I've heard is that the fans they're not happy that he's not recruiting on the recruiting trail. Just he seems to be preoccupied with golf. Mm-hmm. But as we can see last year, the offense was, it was productive. But I tell you, Peyton Thorne screwed up at the wrong times. Mm-hmm. Like against Oklahoma, they had the game and then he did some god awful stupid turnover, and it was just the other way. 430 yards of offense is respectable numbers, but 9 down on the turnover margin. That will kill you.
What I will say is the defensive number there, it's right on the bubble for the average for, I believe it's college. The NFL, I believe, is slightly higher by a couple points. That's right at the bubble where you need to hold them to that or less to win most, to the big majority of your games. Mm-hmm. And knowing how schedules are made, that's not good because you're going to not give up any of those points in the early part of your season and far more in the later part of your season. And then that average gets to that number, you're going to lose far more than what's going to get you in a spot that you're proud of. I don't see anything great in any of these numbers, though. So
the 21 game is not bad. 21 points a game is I think pretty solid. But multiple quarterback talk was to throw off the opposition, and Small Time said there is some frustration with Freeze, but he's safe at least until 2026. Well, that's true.
That's one more year. That's one more year. If you only have to buy a coach out of 1 year out of a contract, they'll just.
Hey, at least you're not like Texas A&M buying off 2 contracts. The next one is Missouri Tigers at Memorial Stadium. Eli Drinkwitz, who was also in the hot seat 2 years ago, coming at 38-24, 5 years at the school, 50-25 overall, turning out to a pretty nice record as a coach. 7th in the SEC last year, defeated Iowa 27-24 in the Music City Bowl. Of course, Missouri returns 13 starters. Of course, they returned 13 seniors and 9 juniors, but they will be breaking in a new quarterback this year, which will be different for them. That will be one of the keys with Missouri this year. They also lose Luther Bird, or the dominant wide receiver. They lose a lot of talent on the offensive side. The question is, can the defense carry them while they break in a new quarterback and new players in the skill positions on the offensive side of the ball? Eli Drinkwitz, still, like I said, had been on the hot seat, turned it around out of nowhere pretty much the last 2 years, and it's a few, overall 10-3, 5-3, but it's another team that lost games. Let's see. They lost 34-30 at South Carolina, but they lost 41-10 at Texas A&M and 34-0 at Alabama. But Brady Cook, their starting quarterback, was out a lot of the season. He had an injury-plagued season, which really affected this team.
See, I would think that this team would have a better upside than 12th on this prediction, but again, we need to look at the schedule. I think once you start looking at these bottom 5 teams, you're going to see either abysmal talent or ruthless schedule.
Yes, and also Bo Pribula, if you don't remember, from the Penn State University, he's transferred to Missouri. He's projected to be the starter, but there again, we got questions. So, quarterbacks will take precedent. See, they took a step back offensively last year. Obviously, when Brady Cook was injured, the defense struggled last year, giving up almost 30 points a game. Yet they still had a +8 on the turnover margin. It's bizarre how they do that. Hey,
they did force teams to run quite a bit.
Yeah. Hey, Mrs., how are you? Yeah, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about either, but thanks for saying hi in the like button. Everybody say hi to the Mrs. Mrs., will you be live in the morning on Wednesday morning? Just let me know. With your morning musings tomorrow. Just make sure I got that. I mean, all these days are going. It's all flipping on me.
I was so happy I was able to catch her morning show last week because I took a few days off from work, and it's so hard for me to catch her show because I'm slammed, doing stuff and on meetings, and it was fun. Got to see some people I don't always get to see in chat, and it was just a good time.
Okay, folks, make sure you go watch that. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. So we're going to try to get through these. We keep saying it quickly. Clark Lee, who's should have been coach of the year last year. Vanderbilt had a miraculous season, 7-6. Barely struggled just 500 record. I'm telling you, they defeated Georgia Tech 35-27. What is interesting, though, this year is the 13 seniors coming back. One of them is Diego Pavia, the transfer in last year, who really was responsible for the offensive production and improvement for this team. What is interesting is he went to court to challenge and get an extra year of NCAA eligibility, which he was granted. But other players in other sports have not been granted stuff like that. So,
the good thing, we'll just quickly on this, the good thing is that they have a lot of these seniors and juniors who won last year and know that it's possible to beat a team like Alabama. So if you're looking at a non-tangible thing, that's it, because the way you turn around a team that hasn't won anything in a long time is a win like that, and then people on the team, players on the team talking like, hey, I remember we did that. I know what it took. I know what that was like. So that experience can help buffer you in a subsequent year to turn around your fates, even though you're right. They didn't finish.
Yeah, except because the thing is, I still think they don't have enough talent. They don't have enough depth. Because if you look at the last 3 games, they got to 6 wins by beating Auburn 17-7. Then they lost. They hosted South Carolina, lost 28-7. At LSU, lost 24-17. That's a close game. Then they lost at home to Tennessee 36-23. So, losing 3 in a row at the end of the year did not help them. But hey, it's a new year. We shall see what shall happen. This is going to be one with some crazy turnarounds with stats like 27.3 per game, almost 5 points a game more. About the same total of offensive yards, though. That's what was bizarre. They really didn't produce much more in terms of yardage, but they scored more. But look, they cut the points down. The defense really stood up, and a turnover margin really, I think, also helped in this team last year.
Right. I mean, you're looking and saying, well, why do they keep this coach? Why do they keep this program in place? But if you look 23-24, I think there's only one statistic where they didn't improve. And usually it's improving substantially. Substantially. So, good on them for having a great year. And hopefully they can do better this year.
They almost missed the bowl game, though. They got close, because I'll tell you what screwed them last year. They lost at Georgia State 36-32. This team cannot afford losing to teams like that. They play Georgia State again this year. If they want to make a bowl, they can't lose to Georgia State. They lost at Missouri in double overtime. They can't lose a game like that. I mean, Texas, South Carolina, LSU, Tennessee, you can expect losses, but there are 2 losses there that they should not have had last year. So,
all righty, let's roll.
Right. So, all right, and we'll move on mercifully for OC. We'll get off Vanderbilt, but that was the freakiest ass game I've ever watched. I sat there and I'm like, Alabama's going to do it, and it was like Alabama did something and Vanderbilt responded. I was like, but I will tell you, I'm frustrated as a Gator fan. That's happened to the Gators before up there. The year that Vanderbilt beat them, it was so embarrassing, But anyway,
what was embarrassing was when Michigan lost to Toledo back in 2000. I think.
What about Appalachian State?
That too.
Hey, I love it. Actually, we had a guy that played kicker here in the Arena Football League that was the kicker at that game. Yep, we met him. Well, let's get through these last 3 pretty quickly. Arkansas, Reynolds Razorback Stadium, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Sam Pittman, who I did at one point think could be a decent coach, but jury's really still out. They did defeat Texas Tech last year in the Liberty Bowl. Of course, seniors, juniors coming back this year on this team.
Pittman took over from that Michigan State quarterback, or not quarterback, coach, John Loser Smith.
Oh, no. He J.L. Smith was many years ago. But no, I got you. I think Bart Bielema was at Arkansas at one point recently, so who's now in Illinois.
Coach.
Yeah, who's now in Illinois, so now everybody thinks they're so great. Well, you can see they took a step back on offense with Washington in 2023. They brought in new quarterbacks last year. And offensive, of course, Bobby Petrino is always rumored to be taking the job at some point. Mr. Motorcycle, Mistress guy, he's still out there. So, but Arkansas really stepped forward on offense under Petrino last year. Defense was respectable. So, but then again,
I wouldn't go that far. 110th ranked passing defense. That -8 turnover margin means they gave the ball up a lot and they just let people air it out and score some points upon them. Pretty good.
Absolutely.
Which is why they didn't do so hot. But anyway, next team. Next team.
All right. So we got this. We got
we got to do our 2-minute drill here, Dadman.
Yeah, I know. We got it. We're gonna get through it. So we got here Kentucky Wildcats. Of course, they're bringing Zach Canada in from Sacred Heart or Incarnate Word, who used to be at Texas A&M. He's like a 7-year college player.
Yeah.
So this is a team, Mark Stoops is the most winningest college football coach in Kentucky history, passing Bear Bryant. He's been there 12 years. It'll be 13th season. It's just, but you see this program falling apart. Even with 16 seniors, they've lost 2 dynamic wide receivers, Barry and Brown, and there's another. You just don't see how like a team like Kentucky, but you don't write them out either. Many years we did, and then they sneaked up to Florida. But the trend has been backwards. This is a team that desperately needs a quarterback that can throw the football.
I kind of feel like the Rutgers or the Maryland of the SEC.
Well, the biggest problem, the thing is that they've had in Kentucky is they can't find a quarterback. When they've had a decent quarterback, they could perform. They would do okay, but they've not. The Georgia transfer quarterback last year was just beyond pathetic, and who retired from football this year. He just, it just was that bad that he just retired. Zach Calzada, yeah, that's the quarterback coming in, a senior. Just to try to steady the ship. If they can get some quarterback play. Don't know. Mark Stoops is a great head coach. He just says, got to get the talent in the school like in Kentucky. So, and let's see, take a look at their numbers real quick here. You can see how they fell off 9 points a game. So 119 in the nation, 330 yards, 114. But then again, this team also beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss. So go figure. Scoring wise, about 22.1. Actually, respectable defense, like is typical for Mark Stoops' team. But again, can this team generate the offense? Last but not definitely least, Mississippi State Bulldogs of Davis Wade Stadium. If you want your cowbell, go there for your cowbell. This is a program that's been in chaos since the death of the great Mike Leach. Suddenly, before the Gator Bowl game, the quarterback, the head coach that was given the job after that into the next year, didn't even survive one season, and replaced by Jeff Labby last year, who struggled to a 2-10 season. When they had a great quarterback that was now they actually had a quarterback, Blake Shapen, who will be the quarterback again this year, but he was a transfer from Baylor University, but he got hurt. And this is the part with the transfer portals and stuff that I hate. Is their quarterback last year that really performed well was Michael Van Buren. He actually, not the president, but he actually had some good performances. He looked like he was really the future of this program, but he transfers. I don't remember exactly where he went to offhand, but he's gone somewhere else now. And it just, when you have that happen, how do you get any consistency? They did bring in other backup quarterbacks, Luke Kromenhoek from Florida State. So we shall see what will happen with this team. Yes, they're like last year. They have a lot of seniors and juniors, but that doesn't mean anything if they're not the talented ones. Hey, Comic Relief Crusader, good to see you tonight. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. You can take a look at this team with their numbers here. A little bit more up on the offense with Michael Van Buren's production, and you notice he did a little bit more running and actually better passing. He was a pretty decent quarterback for them. So but again, no defense. 34 points.
The last bowl they were in was the Outback Bowl, which is now ReliaQuest, whatever that
34 is. Points a game up on defense, plus minus 6. I mean that spells problems for them. So what's so hot up in Canada? What do you mean? Did somebody not pay the bill? So I was pre-hangouts, so probably live from the
that
park.
Was removed.
Oh.
I think the wrong chat.
That happens. I've sent messages to people in other chats, and it was like, oops, what the hell did I do that?
I've gotten texts that were meant for the missus before, so I don't.
Yeah, you did. Yes, I sent that to you, and it was meant for the missus.
Boy.
All right, so now that's what we have. That was what the media said. I am going to show you here compared what the media said. Justin saying, "Hi, you're supposed to be cool in Canada. JT's cool up in Michigan." I'm kidding you. So we can see compare me with the media poll. Mississippi State will be at the bottom again for me. I look at them at a 3-9 record. I mean, that is if they can beat Southern Miss, who actually got the head coach from Marshall, who got kicked out of a bowl game last year because the coach and all their players transferred. So
you have all of their wins taking place in less than a month from today,
dude. But how can they beat Tennessee? How can they win at A&M, at Florida? Forget Texas, Arkansas on the road could be the one game. But see, I'm not convinced that Blake Shapen can be a good quarterback.
No, it won't be.
Yeah, Georgia,
okay.
In Missouri, Ole Miss. It's like, yeah, yes, he did. He brought Marshall guys with him too. Yes, exactly.
All right, let's get the bottom dweller out of the way here.
Well, but see, Southern Miss is a story because they've struggled for so long, and that could be a key. That's why I have it as a key game for them, because them and Arizona State, if they could win those first 4 games, okay, maybe they set something. Blake Shapen needs to stay healthy because if they're going to perform well this year. But I just don't see. I mean, maybe at Arkansas, possibly, depending on how Arkansas is this year. Maybe at Missouri, if Missouri does not perform well. But anyway, I hate to say in 0, but you know what? You got to do it. You got to do it. All right. Next, I have, let's see.
Vandy.
Oh, well, hold on. What the heck?
Well,
come on.
You go back one.
Yeah, there we go. Vanderbilt. Yes, I think I think last year was a fluke. I think the train wheels come off the train. There's a huge derailment because Diego Pavia is going to be exposed. I think we saw that in the last 3 games against SEC competition last year. You got Charleston Southern, Georgia State, Utah State. I got them winning at Missouri. But you take a look. I mean, they could win to Virginia Tech. I mean, but they're on the road. But South Carolina, Lenore Sellers is just too good. At Alabama, you got LSU.
I think they could either beat Kentucky or Auburn.
Yeah, well,
other than that, I would agree with every single one of those.
But I will say, well, you'll see why I say when it comes to Auburn. So, but at Tennessee, it doesn't matter. Tennessee hates them. So, let's see. Let me hit these one at a time, though. Okay. All right. Wrong way.
Other way.
Yeah, other way. All right.
Tied.
Kentucky. They will end up tied for. Listen, it happened last year. I hate doing ties and stuff, but there were so many ties at different positions in the season last year because of parity and the number of teams. Again, if they can win these games that I've highlighted, I've got Kentucky winning 1 conference game, which is that game at Vanderbilt. Because but Ole Miss at home. This Ole Miss is not going to let that happen again like this year. But South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn. I mean, they got a horrendous draw for SEC.
They do play 2 MAC teams now. As weak as Kentucky is, I don't know if they stand any real chance at losing to those 2 teams.
Right.
Toledo, I have no idea how good they are this year. Eastern, they will not lose to.
Right.
Guaranteed.
I'm
not going to guarantee it to put money on it, but you know what I mean.
Well, let's take a look.
No way.
Let's take a look. Remember this schedule that they've got in conference: Ole Miss, South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, and then you got Vanderbilt there. When we look at Texas or some of the other bigger teams, the better, higher expected teams, let's compare the SEC schedule to them because it's kind of like fairness. You wonder. Tied for 12th, I got Missouri. Well, it's going to be a misery year. With Perpula coming in, they're falling back to the pack. So we've got a 6-win team that would make them bowl eligible. With that, you got key games. See, I think South Carolina is a key game at home because if that's a game that they can win, maybe the season changes. I mean, if they can win that game, depending if they get Perpula or whatever, they've lost so much talent on offense. So that's the problem that they've had. And even then last year, they struggled on offense. So
yeah, see, I don't know. I think they'll be beat up playing Alabama at home pretty bad, I think. So I don't think they would beat Auburn, but I think they would have a decent chance at going into Vanderbilt and winning.
Yeah. Yeah,
And that would put them bowl eligible at that point.
Yes, if Mark Stoops actually turned down A&M, if that's true, yeah, that you'd have to leave it. I mean, good for loyalty, but see, that's one of the times when people gripe about there's no loyalty. Well, his career could die in Kentucky, and he could have made a lot of money at A&M. So you never know. But Missouri, we'll just get kind of through some of these real quick because they're not. Again, look at that a little bit. Not as difficult as Kentucky, but it's there.
So you're going to put Arkansas at 12?
Yep, tied at 12 with two.
I only asked. The media poll has Arkansas on there twice, so I'm trying to.
Shoot!
Not trying to throw shade at you. I'm just trying to figure out how you're stacking against them.
I don't know. I messed up, but
I think
I'll figure out which one 12 is. Yeah. Anyway, but actually, Arkansas, the media poll had it 14. Here, let's see. We'll figure this out. All right. We got that. Yeah, it's got a. It's like I said. I did some of this late at night, and it's not always good. But hey, pretty graphics. The missus made these for me.
They look great. They look great.
You got to enter it right. Let's see. Arkansas was scheduled by the media poll at 14. Oh shoot! I hit the wrong button again. Arkansas at 14. Auburn was at 11. Missouri is at 12. So So anyway, Auburn's in there somewhere, I think, and I think that's what happened there. Was I didn't get Auburn in the right place, but either way, dang it! And I looked these things over. That's what's so frustrating. So
I know.
So all right. So there we go. Either way, here we go. Missouri, we've got there at 2-6. Of course, like you said. We got Arkansas. Whoops. Well, we'll just hitting the button too often, So we got Arkansas here. Key games with, wins against Auburn and Mississippi State here. Both home games. But look at it. They could play at Texas, at LSU. They play at Tennessee. A lot of games at Ole Miss. So 4 hard road games. There. For this team, you get one at Missouri and A&M at home, but still, and that's why
they lose to Auburn. I do. But other than that, I would agree. Again, I think you're making good choices so far, Dad, man. Which means if we both agree, how far off are we?
Yeah. Yep, I got you. So then we got Oklahoma tied at 9 in here. We've got this, of course, look at week number 2 that they host Michigan. Again, this team depends on the quarterback play. I mean, will the transfer come in and do well? This is a team, and like I said, this is a team that could actually maybe end up much higher in the conference. That's the thing at this point of the year, except for teams like Texas or Georgia, where we pretty much know what they are. Some of these teams will not know until they actually hit the field, and that's why a lot of people don't like early season polls and predictions,
You really think they stand a chance of beating Michigan week 2?
Yeah, at home. Yeah. Michigan's not returning a starting quarterback. Even though the kids paid $12 million, Underwood, you still got to go on the road and win at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a fairly tough team to win at home. I mean, I've seen plenty of games where they should have lost, but they pulled it out. They, of course, if you're looking at the scouting report on this quarterback for Oklahoma, he could be a big difference. That's the problem that Oklahoma did not have last year was a reliable quarterback. Jackson Arnold was so unpredictable. Hawkins came in and was only a running threat. And so that's been a big problem. Max Venable is, can he get an offensive team? Lincoln Riley runs to California. And then next thing you know, he ends up in the Big Ten. Instead of the Pac-12, where he could have run up the offenses, So
you also have them. Okay, good. You have them losing versus Texas. They're going to play at the
Cotton Bowl.
Jerry Jones Jungle Gym.
I think they play at the Cotton Bowl. I don't think they play at the Jungle Gym. I think they're outside of the Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
So, because
That's
it's part of
that's what I'm
it's part of
calling where Dallas plays,
it's
folks.
but
The
it's part of
Cowgirls.
it's part of the Texas State Fair though.
Okay,
So,
okay. I was like, are they really going to play in that wretched stadium?
yeah. So
The
see, I've
Cowgirls
got them.
playing.
I've got them losing to LSU at the end of the season, but depending on how LSU's doing, or depending how their quarterback plays, I mean, that's a game
Sure.
that could go the other way and that they win. Like I said, this is a team that could actually end up better than what I predicted. We
All right.
got wrong way again. All right, the Auburn Tigers. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. I have them beating Alabama in the Iron Bowl at the end of the year.
Oh, War Eagle. I like it.
I think between Jackson Arnold, some of the other additions they've done, Hugh Freeze is a good coach when it comes to game day. And like the Singleton, the wide receiver out of Georgia Tech, should give them enough of a spark, who I saw play games last year. If it all goes well, if they can do the little things right, this is definitely a team that could win. I mean, they could beat whether they win at Oklahoma. Oh gosh, yeah.
See, Deadman out here, I think they beat Arkansas and they run the table. They lose to Georgia in a close one and run it out and win all 6.
Yeah. See, the game in Arkansas,
it's doable.
The game in Arkansas is one that they could win. I mean, I'm kind of looking at all the back and forth. The one thing is parity in this league. It's like, teams are always losing games you think they should win, and even Georgia and Texas sometimes. But I don't see them winning at Oklahoma or A&M. But this team has played Georgia very, very tough. 2 years ago, they should have beaten Georgia at home. So even though that's a game they could win the Arkansas game. Imagine if this team beats Georgia and runs the table. And the only reason why I really have them as a chance of beating Alabama is it's at home at Jordan-Hare. I mean, look, we got the kick 6 return game. You remember that game many years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, their home field advantage means a lot in the SEC. It just means more, like the league says. But I think this could be a great year if you're an Auburn fan. I really think you could have a good
schedule for it.
Yeah. And like I said, look at that compared to what friggin' Kentucky got, You
think they're going to keep it up against Baylor?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Baylor, yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll know quickly because I think that Baylor game will know quickly whether this Auburn team is for real or not. If they go in and lay an egg, it may be a long year for Alabama. I mean, for Auburn, because I tell you what, you lose that, then you come back and you lose to Oklahoma and Texas A&M, and then Georgia. Yeah, you're at 2-4 at that point, and you're really staring up. So let's see. We got this Alabama tied with Auburn. Okay, I know OC's probably going to hate me tonight, but I might have been drinking the drugs this time. But look, you don't like. I just Canada DeBoer. I'm still not sold on that team, and I'm not sold on Ty Simpson. I am not. I know they'll start off winning at FSU. Although if they struggle against FSU, I look to see your freshman quarterback playing very soon. They should handle South Florida and Wisconsin very easily, but I don't think that they show up to Georgia very well. But then Vanderbilt, Missouri, you got Tennessee at home should be a win. Tennessee's got enough problems on and off field to deal with that. But it's South Carolina and LSU. The 2 games really in there, the South Carolina and LSU games. Both the teams are really good this year. That's what I was
going to say. Those are the 2 big question marks in your prediction here.
And they could go either way. I mean, one South Carolina being at home is why I took them in that match. LSU at home, sometimes Alabama will struggle at home against a team like an LSU. But then again, what type of LSU team do we get? Do we get the one that I'm expecting or what others are expecting? Or are we going to get the smelly team? And like OC says, time will tell. Time will tell. I mean, that's a problem this time of year. These things, we have not seen these players play. We've not seen these teams play. So, we're really stretching it a lot last year. Like I had no friggin' hope in hell Florida would have done what they did. I was really negative on them last year, but and then some teams I had good, went in the tank. So, well, like I said, that
this blows up your
yeah,
predictions
yeah,
versus the media right here.
yeah, it
This
does.
really blows it out of
Well,
the
see,
water.
I live on the edge, I live on the edge with this stuff, and it's, I mean, I could be wrong, but see, this team, if they go into Georgia, win at Georgia, okay, then you got something, that changes everything around, but the biggest thing is like OC said, time will tell. We got a brand new quarterback in. When he was starting and all, he kind of looked very pedestrian and average, but he's had a couple more years to mature in the system, and there's just too many. There's some variables in there, and maybe I'm looking at it overly negative for Alabama, but at least that's what I say. So we'll make it fun, and then everybody can say, "Hey, you were wrong," and that's okay.
Who do they not play? That's the other thing. You got to look at who Alabama does not play.
Yeah, they don't play Texas.
You're going to go on.
Yeah, they don't
play Texas.
That's the one team that they don't play. But they got Georgia, they got Tennessee, LSU, and South Carolina. So
now they also don't play Florida. So if there's a case where Texas underperforms, Florida does well, and you get in this situation, you put Alabama above Florida, but do you put them above Texas in a three-way tie?
I put them above Florida, period. I mean, you're going to see where I put Florida, but I'm not sold on my Florida prediction.
Sure, I'm just saying if you had a three-way tie, does this team...
No, I'd put Texas and Alabama.
I'd
put Texas and Alabama ahead of Florida.
Sure, but then Texas or Alabama. What do you put there?
Alabama. I hate Texas. I hate Texas. So
okay.
I'm like Texas about like you are Alabama.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can see that.
Okay, come on. I hit the button. There we go. Texas A&M. We got a four-way tie for fifth. Texas A&M just ahead of Alabama here. Running the first five. Of course, Notre Dame is not a conference game, but if they win it, they win it. If they lose it, then I'd look at Florida going in there to A&M. The last time Florida went in there, they had a big win there. And this, like you said, Texas A&M, the team that loves to underperform. Who knows? Losses at LSU and at Texas. So this, of course, is.
Sorry, I think a win at Notre Dame and home against Auburn, both are optimistic. I predict they drop one of those. And it's probably at Notre Dame is where they're going to lose.
Very likely. Very likely. And some of the key games we got in there. Notre Dame is more for national title positioning. Auburn is key because it's the first conference game. And how will this team respond? Of course, Florida is a game that they should win at home. And then of course you got that home to South Carolina, and of course at the end with Texas. So we got that for Texas A&M. We're going to go in through here. We got Tennessee Volunteers. Starting off in the Atlanta neutral site game on the 30th. 5-3 in the conference. Yeah, exactly. Lost to Georgia. Lost to Alabama. Oh shoot, I miscolored. I've got them losing at Florida though. I got this team with 3 losses overall, with a 9-3 record.
Now, looking at this, if they don't give up a loss of even one of those 3, they are right at the top.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, yes, they play Georgia and Alabama, of course, but they don't play Texas.
I hate that, but I
play Carolina.
But see what's bit weird, and I hate it. This effect, the Florida weather has always been a factor in the Tennessee game. That was always the first SEC game for Florida every year, played in September. It was usually the first game on CBS every fall, but they got them playing in friggin' November. I hate that. That should not be. That game should have been earlier in the year, and definitely in September. Why they decided to start screwing around with the scheduling and the natural timing of these?
Yeah, they do that. They've done that to other teams and other games. They'll play like Wisconsin and Minnesota far too early, or they'll play Penn State with people out of order on that. They've even messed around with the Michigan State game, where it's like the second weekend in October, right after the weather changes, and it officially feels like fall, and it's like the perfect weekend. They'll throw it like Halloween, and it's like, okay, you have 2 weeks before Ohio State. Weird, stupid stuff like that messes with tradition, and I don't like it, and I know you don't like it either.
No, and well, speaking of screwing with tradition, South Carolina shouldn't be this high, but apparently they're doing pretty good the last few years. See, at LSU, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, that's going to be the big hurdle for them. 3 tough road games. That's a lot for this team. We'll see what happens, but
I see
those on all 3 of those are tough places to play, though. That's the big thing.
I think they are this high because this schedule is easy compared to the others.
Yeah,
the only
go back to compare what Kentucky got.
But look at the only top 3 team they play out of Texas, Georgia, Alabama is Alabama, and they play them at home.
Yep,
and
LSU's top 4 though in the conference. So but still,
that is their toughest game is at LSU, and we don't know that game has the potential of being a win for them.
The main problem, I don't trust this team on the road. That's the biggest thing. They got LSU, Ole Miss, and A&M at home on the road, and that's very tough. But we'll see. So, Beamer has his special teams up and running. Really some of the best in the country. So in some games turn on that. Some games that's the way they some teams are built. Frank Beamer's dad, had great teams at Virginia Tech, but they won many games with the special teams. So never forget. Then we got Ole Miss. Yes, I don't like Lane Kiffin, but see again, 3 losses at Georgia, at Oklahoma, and they lose at home to Florida. I'm being optimistic. You'll see how optimistic I am with Florida this year, but I don't trust Lane Kiffin.
A bit.
I don't trust Lane Kiffin with any of this stuff. I just. But then again, here's another soft conference schedule game. They got at Kentucky, they got LSU is at home, on the road at Georgia, on the road at Oklahoma, and they host Florida. This is a team that, though, if they can perform, but again, they have a freshman quarterback or sophomore quarterback coming in, and I think Lane Kiffin is good for losing 1 to 2 games a year.
The real thing that I think might help this team out is they will have a very manageable schedule until the end of September.
Right.
So they have plenty of time to work out issues against a lot of these other teams. That's true. LSU might be an easier win than you think, especially at home. And then they've got 2 weeks off, an easier game against Washington State, and then at home, and then Georgia. So this is quite a favorite. I actually kind of like this schedule for their odds.
If I was Florida, I would love this schedule, but Florida didn't get the schedule. So
right.
Speaking of that, LSU, we're going to get into the last 4. LSU starts it up on a road trip to Clemson, not a neutral site, but a road trip to Clemson. Of course, they host Florida, the 3rd game of the season. I got that as a win for LSU, being mostly because they're playing at home. Of course, then they get 2. I've got them with 2 losses at Ole Miss and at Oklahoma at the end of the year. Some bad time losses. Now, I'm not as confident in this team either. I've got them winning at Alabama, but like I said earlier, Garrett Nussmeier, if he does not protect the ball this year better than he did last year, then it could be, this team could also fall further, like some of the others we had lower that could be higher. This is a case where we could have the opposite. So
I have a feeling you're very optimistic about this team.
Yeah, a little bit. I like Nussmeier as a quarterback, though. He's just got to protect the ball more. Hey, Sashi. Hey,
hard years have always worked for Brian Kelly to come back stronger and more disciplined. The thing is, we haven't seen it at LSU whatsoever, and it feels disturbing to see him not succeed the way that he has in his
yes, and I
previous
believe that there's a lot of
jobs.
pressure on him over there now. That the
Mhm.
rumors, especially last year when talk started happening with him wanting to go to Florida,
I
the
think he
people
would
in
be a better fit at Florida. I
I
really
agree. I
do.
would take him in a heartbeat over Napier. And any, I don't like Napier's offenses. I don't like the way he in-game coaches. I don't. I think he's still too young, not disciplined as a coach. To the Florida will lose some of the games that I think that they could win by bad coaching decisions, either mistiming, getting players lined up on time, pulling them out, field goal arrangement. I mean, that's been a history with him for the last few years. So, yeah, but see, like LSU though, they could. But see, then again, what I'm saying is that I don't think the Cajun Nation will stay with Brian Kelly very long
I
if he
don't
flirts with
either.
other jobs. If he flirts with other jobs, it's a cultural culture. Yeah, isn't it a natural tendency for a guy to protect balls? That should be baked in. Oh God, yeah.
Right.
What?
So I think this is an overly optimistic ranking, not just by you, but the media poll as well. And
No,
I'm not trying to be too hard on you. I just think
no.
they
It's
will not win every single one of these
I
games.
think so far the only one that's way out of whack probably is that. Looks like. Let's see, Missouri's there. It was
But see,
probably
I think they
the
could win at
Alabama one. The Alabama probably
Mhm.
so far from what I said, the one that I've got way out of whack is probably the Alabama one, which I can understand. I can
Sure.
agree with that. So,
But I also just disagree. I think they could definitely lose at Alabama and win at Oklahoma.
I
So
don't
I
doubt
think
that.
you might get to the same number, plus minus one, but we would pick different games in
Right?
here
No,
for
that's the
sure.
thing. Absolutely. Like I said, parity in this league is just last year we saw it with the addition of Texas. I mean, teams were not as dominant. And here we go, the Gators! Yay! Tied for third. I felt dirty. I had to take a shower after this.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
I
just
felt that
I
way when I put MSU at seventh in
I'm
my
just
Big
like
Ten.
I'm
No.
like, but I'm sitting here analyzing and thinking. I'm reading what's on the books. I'm looking at the schedule. Long Island just don't. I'm not even gonna bother my. They should not even play Lagway in that game. Honestly, if they can't win that game with Harrison Bailey and the other backups, because that kid, I'm telling you, and this is too optimistic based on Lagway staying healthy all year. He goes down, they're screwed. That's one thing I don't like Napier's teams. He's heavily dependent on this guy, and he's going to keep running him out there with clap shift. Let the kid be a drop back, maybe some rollouts, but don't have him using his legs as much as he did last year. Don't do the spread option crap with him. Let him be a passer. Embrace the downfield passing game, which Napier has not liked in Florida with other quarterbacks. Like even Graham Mertz last year, it was always clap, shift, 5 yard out, 10-yard slant, all that stuff. Never down the field. And let this kid be the star of this team if you want. But, I mean, them and South Florida should be easy wins. LSU on the road, I've got as a loss because I
Well,
I
I could
don't trust.
definitely
Here's the thing: is I don't
Mhm.
trust. We will know more about Florida when they play LSU, even if they lose. If they lose a good competitive close game, we probably have a really good competitive team. If they go over there and lay an egg, we got typical Billy Napier, is what I think.
Well, and I agree with your schedule through Mississippi State, but I think you'll hear about that coach being on the hot seat again when they open up 3-2.
Yeah,
And the two that they needed to win, they didn't. I think
well,
you will hear about that.
you
Even
want to beat LSU and you want to win that home game in the swamp against Texas.
now, Georgia or Tennessee or Florida State, I see two losses in there. I don't know which ones yet, but I see two losses in there. So I
That's
see them
reasonable.
as
Yeah.
more of a fifth one in your mountain
Mhm.
of your
Yeah.
giant pile of tied for fifth teams.
Wow.
With that number of losses, that's where
Well,
they
that's
fall
very,
for
very
me.
likely. That's very likely. See that game at Texas A&M though is not a given. You got that. Kentucky is one that is given Florida fits too. If Kentucky turns out decent, that could be one that surprises them. And Ole
If
Miss,
you
I
play
mean,
them late
in
enough in the
Tennessee,
year, they may have
in
already given up.
Tennessee, in the I'm telling you, that time of year where it's cooler in Florida could affect that Tennessee-Florida game. Not good for the Gators. But anyway, like I said, I'm overly optimistic with the Gators, so feel
The
free to
real one that
criticize all
might
you want.
stink for you is if Florida State needs to beat you to get into a CFP contention.
Ugh, FSU ain't even going to be close to CFP these days. I mean, my God, the crap that they did last year. All right, so let's see who's going to be in the SEC championship game. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. We got 12, 15 people at different times. Oh, wow, we got 18 likes. Thank
we
you,
know
everybody.
the two teams. It's just a matter of
do
you think Texas or Georgia is number one?
Well, I got them kind of both tied.
Oh,
Georgia.
No. Oh, come on.
I got Georgia losing at Florida. With Florida, I do. I got Georgia winning, beating Tennessee on the road, beating Bama at home. Like I said, depends on the quarterback play from Alabama. I don't see all Kentucky. Now, the danger game that I see, truly, honestly, here is the road game at Auburn before Alabama or Ole Miss, because Auburn nearly beat them a couple years ago, and Auburn plays them really tough. But I think they handle Ole Miss at home. My kid up there's got great things for tickets. This home schedule is like crazy. So of course Georgia, I got them beating Texas at home. So, which then leads you to see we got Texas in the top spot, with the one loss at Georgia. So, running the table, which then puts. Let's see. The 2025.
Wait. Sorry, I wanted to talk about that.
Okay,
Texas
we'll go
game.
back. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Texas at Ohio State, you have them as a win. I don't know about that. You think Texas
you got a new Ohio State quarterback. You got a new running back. Arch Manning has had enough time in that system for Texas. I do think we'll see a real SEC team play in Ohio State. Tennessee was not matched up for them last year, and we saw that. But Texas is probably the SEC. I mean, we shall see. I don't think Ohio State may not be the same team it was last year with new players in, but who knows with that payroll. But
I just cannot see that. I cannot see it at all. I got to go Ohio State for that, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But what I do know, I can confirm, it will be the most insufferable commentary. People that they're going to put in that game.
Yeah, I know. But hey, we'll see. Hey, either way, it still will come back to, like I said, Georgia and Texas in the championship game. And who would you pick between this matchup, JT?
Georgia. I would pick Georgia, especially at that point in the year. Texas has historically just found a way to poop the bed.
Yep, I got you like they did last year. They, especially after they knocked Georgia's quarterback out. I thought Georgia was done, but hey, they won the game.
Yeah.
And let's see, I got Georgia went too far again. Hey, I've got Georgia winning the SEC championship game to be the 2025 SEC champions this year. So.
And I think it goes more than that. Even if you do have Texas show up, the game play styles, I think, favor Georgia in a number of ways. And unless Georgia struggles, like they don't have a quarterback or, their linebackers all get hurt or something.
I think we saw last year that Georgia's good at playing a dirty football game. Not dirty, like bad, but when the offenses aren't clicking, when it passes and all that stuff, that when it gets really clunky, Georgia has a way to win those ugly looking games. Texas has to be on fire, everything rolling, like the way they went and started with Michigan last year on the road. They were just so hot. I mean, Georgia is a team that can sit there. Like they did to Alabama last year. They dropped down, I think, 31-0 before they came back and took a lead. They actually took a lead before they gave the lead up. So, but that's what I've got compared to the poll. So we'll see what happens as this happens. So, I know that we're way late on time, but hey, it's an SEC preview. Let me take a quick look, JT. We're going to pick our games in just a second, but what I want to show here is let me try to enlarge this a little bit, and we're going to take a look at action around the country. Starting Thursday night. That's kind of why we got our things in this
48
week.
hours from now.
Yeah, I know. We got Boise State is on the road at South Florida in the top 25 action. West Cagle, your Rutgers State University of New Jersey plays Ohio.
Now, on that one, Ohio is the third-ranked team in the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
Don't count Ohio out on that. Not even kidding.
I got you. Hey, you never know. Starting the SEC action, Central Arkansas is on the road at Columbia, Missouri, facing the Tigers. Big Ten action, Buffalo is at Minnesota that night.
That's a bottom-dwelling MAC team. Yeah. Minnesota.
Hey, more. I wish Erica was here. Nebraska is at Cincinnati representing the Big Ten. Yeah.
Really? On the road at Cincinnati. Okay.
Yeah, and Miami of Ohio is on the road at Wisconsin.
Now, that could be a bad day for Wisconsin. Miami of Ohio is favorite to win the MAC. I mean, it's a preseason ranking, but I've seen worse.
Well, I tell you, I think Wisconsin's one step ahead of Ohio with the lack of offensive production. So on Friday, Tarleton State's moving up to the 1A level, but they're on the road at Army. Your guys, Western Michigan, your guys are hosting Western Michigan, Michigan State on FS1, another network.
MSD will win.
None of us can get that network anyway.
Yeah, no.
Let's see. Looking down through there, Illinois, 12th ranked Illinois is hosting Western Illinois. Auburn is on the road at Baylor on Fox Network. So that will be.
You had Auburn winning on Baylor, I believe, on that.
Yep. Well, also another big game on ESPN is Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wrecker, at Deion Prime Time, Colorado. So, and for Buddy Hepburn, Central Michigan is on the road at San Jose State at 10:30 on FS1.
Now, historically, Central Michigan has done very well in the MAC the last 2 years, and especially this year. Yep. They are dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Central is
former Gator
below
coach
Buffalo. So
hey, former Gator coach Jim McElwain, the guy that couldn't even decide if he wanted to quit or not. That was a horrible travesty of walking away. So, of course, Saturday.
Central and Western Michigan are arch rivals. And really? I grew up in an area that was closer to Western than Central, so I guess I'm a Bronco-ish, maybe. So go San Jose State.
There you go. Well, brings us to, we got a great first week of football. Texas on the road at Ohio State at noon on Fox. Syracuse is at Tennessee on ABC at noon. Of course, we talked about Mississippi State, Southern Miss also at noon. Looking through there, Ball State is at Purdue. Maryland is hosting Florida Atlantic in the Big Ten. Northwestern's on the road at Tulane, probably going to lose. What are you laughing at?
I would not waste your time trying to hunt down Ball State at Purdue.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But it's on the Big Ten Network while you guys get shoved off to FS1.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I'm sure everybody in California is so excited they get that football game.
Well, Toledo's at Kentucky at 12:45 on the first SEC game, network game of the year. Looking down through here, Indiana hosts Old Dominion at 2:30. Penn State hosts Nevada. Here's where it gets in the crap. Georgia hosts Marshall. Not so bad. This is an interesting matchup. Alabama is on the road at Florida State at 3:30.
That's the only one anyone cares about.
Why the hell did they put South Dakota and Iowa State on Fox?
Why? Because CBS got the Penn State game, ESPN got Georgia.
But why do you put South Dakota? They're not even 1A team. Anyway.
Well, no one else is playing at 3:30.
All right. Well, move another game to that. You move a game to that slot then. Well, we got Montana State at Oregon, Alabama A&M at Arkansas in the SEC, Illinois State at 18th ranked Oklahoma in the SEC. Big Ten, University of Albany goes on the road at Iowa. Will we see the Hawkeyes get upset? Oh, here's
their field goal kicker.
Here is a potential upset already. Coastal Carolina at Virginia. Virginia sucks. They might as well shut the football down. They're also the only number one seed in college basketball. Well, actually, I guess there's two now, but they were the first number 1 seed to lose to 16 seed in basketball. But we got Coastal Carolina. Watch for that possibly being an upset. The game that should never have been friggin' discussed. I can't even watch that damn game. I don't think. I'll
It's
be
on
playing
ESPN
Fortnite.
Plus.
I can get it. I can get it with my package and stuff. But I'm just like Long Island at Florida. Just wow. See, that's my thing is a game like that. If all I can do is get angry at that game, either they don't score enough points or somebody gets hurt, and I can't.
They didn't even want to put
like
that thing in TV. Look at
No.
that.
Yep.
Look at that. It's,
Texas San Antonio is at 19th ranked Texas A&M on ESPN. Charleston Southern at Vanderbilt. See what else is in the Big Ten or
Clemson,
LSU is Clue at night. Yes, we got a good game at night there,
and then New Mexico at Michigan. Same time.
NBC Peacock. Hey, there you go. Arkansas Pine Bluff. Oh no, that's Texas Tech. That's a different conference. UTEP. My UTEP Miners are at Utah State. Probably suck and lose again. Ole Miss hosts Georgia State at 7:45. Our friend Sam out there, in case you're lurking, your BYU Cougars are hosting Portland State, a team that usually the Beavers struggle to beat out there. Our friend Figgy, Louisiana, I think that's where her kid goes, hosts Rice. Let's see, here we go.
Don't think there are a lot of rice in Louisiana.
I don't know. I give up. Cal and Oregon State at 10:30 on ESPN.
I guess that is a Big Ten game.
I'll get a late night game. Hey, Hawaii.
The sun will be up at that game still too.
Yeah, Hawaii upset Stanford this last weekend, but they're on the road at Arizona this time. Oh my God, TNT and HBO Max. I thought it was bad when CW started hosting games, but now TNT, Big 12 for the TNT network. Utah at UCLA on Fox. God, we got some late night action then. And Colorado Hate at Washington on the Big Ten network at 11. That completes with the Big Ten. Virginia Tech at South Carolina on Sunday at 3. Of course, Notre Dame at Miami on ABC at 7:30 on Sunday night. And the last matchup
playing on a Sunday.
Well, hey,
they're going to have to go to
Bill Belichick
on that.
Yeah, Bill Belichick coaching on college on Labor Day, September 1. TCU at North Carolina. What a way to end the schedule.
Well, interesting.
Yep.
There are some big games the opening weekend. You know, a lot of times it's a joke, but there's some good stuff to be had.
There really is. Well, folks, one other segment we're going to do the show, and tonight it'll be a little more advanced than we will most weeks. JT and I picked some games out already. I'm going to try to about 15 games a week. We'll see. We'll try and balance them between Big Ten and SEC games that are good, and then some games around the nation really quickly. We'll just go through these real quick. If there's any comments you want on them. For the Big Ten, we got Western Michigan and Michigan State. Both me and JT both take Michigan State.
Could you embiggen that some, please?
Embiggen it? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that word.
It's from The Simpsons.
All right.
So let's see here. Okay, so to the right is the team on the right. To the left is
right. So here we'll put them both over here. I did a little bit different than they did. We both have Michigan State. You have Utah, and I have UCLA. We both take Washington. I'm taking Texas. You're taking Ohio State.
I think that'll be the biggest disagreement we have on the outcome of the week's games. Now, why did you choose UCLA? Because I think they're awful.
Nico.
Okay.
I ain't with their quarterback experience. Utah has no quarterback experience. Cam Rising finally had to friggin' retire. You know, he played like 20 years and was always hurt. But really, it was Nico made the difference on there. We both took Minnesota over Buffalo. But I think really the thing is Texas Ohio State will tell us what Arch Manning has. If he's really ready as a quarterback or if he's just still going to struggle like all young quarterbacks and stuff. So we got SEC games. We got Auburn at Baylor. Did I
Both
get?
took Auburn.
Yep, we
Yeah.
both took Auburn. We both took Tennessee over Syracuse, which that had this game been last year with Kyle McCord as a quarterback, or Kyle McCord to come back this year, I'd be tempted to take Syracuse, but not this year. But I think this game comes down to Tennessee's quarterback play and young wide receivers. This is not a given for Tennessee. It should be, but it's not. I think Alabama just decimates Florida State.
Yeah, I was going to say I did not even estimate that to be anywhere close.
Yeah, if I think it's a good game for Ty Simpson to go into, and hopefully emerge as a starter without any question. Florida State is just still
Alabama,
as bad as they were last year.
Alabama up so much if they when they beat Florida State.
Yeah,
so much they'll be they should be number one in the country and all this other.
No, yeah, they still got a ways to go. It's okay. We got to make it. Look, it's okay. We like it for OC out there. Some of our best.
I know. You know me. I can't ever let Alabama have any fun.
I know, but hey, LSU at Clemson. We both take LSU in that one, even though it's a road game for LSU.
ACC is not what it used to be.
Dabo
I don't think it ever will be.
Dabo Swinney is not a good game coach. I remember when he was here one year for a bowl game, and people loved him and stuff, but he seems more like a recruiter type guy, not necessarily a game coach. But of course, we got Toledo at Kentucky. We split. You took Toledo, I took Kentucky.
Yeah. Toledo is, I believe, the number 2 team in the MAC. Yeah, they're the number 2 team in the MAC right now. So, they have beaten teams in the Big Ten and the SEC before on opening week. Mm-hmm. So if it's going to be them, you could probably do it against Kentucky. But it is a stretch, but I'll give them something for that.
Yep. All right. Well, let's take a look around the country. Virginia takes South Carolina. We both take South Carolina. We split. You took Notre Dame and I took Miami. Why did you do that?
Notre Dame usually shows up well early in the season. And honestly, I don't know a lot about Miami other than what I knew about them from 30 years ago. And you actually had questionable, maybe not questionable, but bubble teams, like 5th place teams beating Miami, I thought. Or maybe even lower down the stack than that. So this pick actually surprises me a little more. Why did you pick Miami over Notre Dame?
Because they're in South Florida for one thing. They also have the Georgia quarterback. I could draw a blank on some of these damn quarterbacks and these names. The one that was he transferred. Apparently, his girlfriend was part of a duo of sisters that played basketball at Miami, and he transferred down there. Kid's got from Carson Beck. He's from Jacksonville, and he's got like a freaking Lamborghini or some damn car. It's like, you're too young for that shit, dude.
Right.
Hey, but that's kind of where I'm going with Miami on that one. It'll be a home game and both teams, filling each other out. We both got Georgia Tech over Colorado. I think primetime's going to be exposed this year because it's just he doesn't have Shadur there anymore, and we'll see what happens. California, Oregon State. I'm Beavers because I'm going Beavers. When I transfer quarterback in, that hopefully will improve the program. Why'd you go California on that one?
I looked at it. This one, I was doing some research on this, and a certain out west city does not have them that far apart. And Cal is in the Big Ten now, right?
No, ACC.
Oh, they're in the ACC. That's right. I knew that they left, and so I was like, maybe they'll make a name for themselves on this game. And also because I knew you were a big Oregon State fan. So I knew you were going to pick Oregon State. And I think that might have been the final decision. I'm like, I got to go against that fan on that.
COC, it's not just Alabama. So, but all right. And TCU at South Carolina, North Carolina, you did the same thing. Was this a Belichick hate game pick?
Yes, it was.
That's what I thought.
It was.
Honestly, I could see TCU winning. North Carolina had some bad losses at home last year. But I figured Belichick will win in his first game at home. So We disagree. Let's see on 1, 2, it's like 3 games up top, and then we disagree on 1, 2, 3 in the bottom. It looks like 6 games overall we disagree on. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That way we don't end up being so plain, That's because that's what happened last
6
year
out
when I
of
did
15 were different. So
well, when I did last year when I did all the games for the SEC, there half of them were against Sisters of the Poor. They only came down to 1 or 2 games that were really anything challenging, So, but
yeah.
All right. Well, JT, any last thoughts?
No.
We made it over 2 hours tonight.
I can't believe we got through that many teams with all that data and all of that. That was a lot to roll through. And we still have a good number of people hanging out with us. So
I know. It's
my
awesome.
thoughts are thank you for everybody that took that wild ride with us.
Yes, exactly. And we appreciate y'all all being here with us tonight. That's SEC preview. So JT did his Big 12, Big 10 preview last week. We looked at some of the games for this week coming up. Enjoy this weekend of college football. There are some games. There's a lot of bad crap out there. There's some promising games. So just go figure it. And I probably might be with my mom at some point on a Saturday, making her watch a few football games. But we shall see what shall happen wherever the situation is at that point. All right, folks, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up at 2 hours plus of this. As the missus says, good night. And remember, missus will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. on her channel. Make sure you subscribe to her channel and show up. Have some laughs. Have some positivity. Like we said, y'all help us y'all help us as much as we help y'all. On that note, folks, everybody, you have a great night, and we will catch you later. Bye, all.
Bye.